All right. Mm-hmm. We're moving. I think. Oh no, everything's slow on my PC though. On that PC. That's all right. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in.
What's the form?
Um.
Where's the form?
Eh. Luffy
Control
says
Alt,
eh.
Control X. Where's? Did they change the appearance of X all of a sudden? It looks weird to me now.
Hmm. Maybe. Something was off today. I was trying to search something and I couldn't find it. It's kind
Yeah,
of
usually
annoying.
the search. Yeah, usually the search is on the top right, and then yeah, here we
Yeah.
go. Now I found it. But when I'm on my home screen, that right pane isn't there anymore. I don't know what's going on with that, but
We're
it's
doing a
kind of
community check-in, Clumsy Knight. We're
yes.
talking about what we're here to do in the Dream Test Labs. You know? Yeah. But yeah, no, I think we can kick off now. We are recording for anybody who's not here at the beginning, so hopefully people trickle in. Um, but yeah, we're good to go. So for those that may or may not know, my name's Maddox. To my right or left is Terrace. Say hi, Terrace.
Hi, Terrace.
Good job, thank you. You got the assignment. We are the we're the co-founders of our little lab here called Dream Test Labs, and you guys were awesome in just like showing up when we put out the call a couple weeks ago. We Terrace and I have been kind of just little backstories. Like we've been working together now a little over 2 years together in various communities and various roles, hosting many events, and he's my work wife. I'm in a voice call with him just about every single day, and we
Multiple hours a day. Yeah,
for multiple
usually.
hours a day. You know,
Yeah.
if I need a buddy to just kind of sit and be in my virtual office, that's with Terrace usually. So we're very familiar with one another, and for a long time, we've been working with projects in different ways, community or events, and game nights too. But we've often found ourselves like using our skills and putting a lot of passion behind what we've been doing, and then when the money runs out, so does our time with the project. And it's very
Yep.
unfortunate because we put a lot into stuff, and we want to make sure that
We
like
get
you know
attached to the communities and shit too. Like
yeah
we come to enjoy the people that we hang out with and we spend time with and experience different things and games and stuff with. So it tends to be really depressing because then you want to hang out, but now your time has to be absorbed somewhere else
yeah
because you have to earn a living. And
depressing. It sucks.
yeah, the
And so
depressing is probably the best word.
yeah. But we for years we've been saying, like, man, I wish we could just go off on our own and do something like this because this is what we love to do. And so that's kind of what sprung the idea. Not exactly Dream Test Labs or becoming a feedback test group, but it is a way that we're able to take our skills and our experience and our network and put it together in a way that we can provide value to the gaming space and to projects. And the we've highlighted hundreds of games over the years, and the statistic of like 80 to 95% of games never lift off after starting. And so we've watched a lot of games die, and we're tired of like shilling and sharing games with people that aren't be shared or marketed properly. And too often do we find like projects taking a lot of their marketing spend and gathering a lot of eyeballs to a game only to find out that there is no game, or that the game's not ready, or the game has some major flaws. So what we wanted to do was find a way to kind of get ahead of the marketing curve or the call to action on these marketing efforts to help work with games and work with projects on exactly that. Just like identifying big red flags, things that we notice are typically like um, you know friction points for onboarding new members, or playing or continuing to play a game, or finding points where it might be attractive because it's super extractive, but maybe there's a better way to offer up reward systems, or the likes of that. Things we talk about with games often and a lot. But we wanted to, yeah, we figured that feedback was something that we've always wanted to value add in our game nights. And when we mashed our heads about it, it just made sense to make a make a group of
To
folks who
build something about it. Yeah.
yeah, to actually like do something towards that, because as much as we'd like to run around and like just do game nights constantly for a living, there's really not a whole lot of money in just hosting game nights. So the
And they
value we
don't
want
see
to
the value in it. Like they
projects
don't see
don't,
the value
yeah.
in building the community around the game nights. They don't see the value in having a good solid group of people that you can rely on for feedback, for consistent growth and promotion of the game to other people. It just having one person like Dank is always telling us about different games, and I'm going to be trying We Will Be Gods just because Dank is passionate about it and it looks cool, and he managed to get me an alpha code, and like these are things that they could be doing with a core set of community members consistently, but they don't do it. So we will be a core set of testers, and we can be the people who, if we like a game, promote the game. And if they want us to continue testing and to amplify their messages, then we can work on ways to do that paid, so that not only you guys can sustain doing this, we can as well. Um,
Yeah.
and then we don't have to worry about running around like schmucks doing stuff for other people and not being able to do the things that we love, which is gaming and game testing and stuff. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
So we what we notice is like, and like along with like our all of our experience in game night culture essentially, one value that I think that we've kept is to not build up communities that are focused on giveaway culture. We don't ever hyper speculate or use rewards to gather members to come and play things. It's always an icing on the cake, nice to have thing, but never a
Or an
requirement.
effort thing.
Yeah, it's not that's not my growth mechanism for hosting game nights, and it never has been. And yes, it was a longer road to getting a sustainable group of people to come and just play games in general, not necessarily just for the rewards, but a more meaningful quality group of people at the end. Along with that, we have noticed that when we do host game nights with let's say there's a play test with a feedback form attached. We've watched hundreds of times where people will show up to a play test to fill out a form, and then like all for the chance of
Of getting
$25,
or
or
10 or
like an
20 or
NFT or a
whatever.
whitelist
Yeah.
or whatever. But people are crawling up the wall to show up and provide feedback. We noticed two things. One, that's kind of extractive of us. Like if we're coming up to show our time and show our feedback, we should be rewarded in some way, shape, or form. Early testing is a reward in itself, and I've always believed it as a privilege versus a right. Our space, in Web3, building in the nude is so common that it's hard to remember that. But back before this,
Well, we have
showing up
early
and
access now for Steam too, and
I
like
know.
all of
They're
these.
starting to pick up,
Yeah.
but they are starting to pick up. But it used to be that like showing up for a playtest group was a big, privilege to get into one. And now it's so readily available that nobody
It's
really shakes a stick at
devalued.
it. It is. But so we don't we also the other thing though that we notice is the quality of feedback that's being provided in these big mass
Has
races to the raffle.
deteriorated.
It's terrible. People are showing up with 5 6 accounts. People are just clicking through the form and just saying, cool game, bro, would play again. Nice, and like no changes to add. Just very low quality feedback that doesn't ultimately end up helping out teams. So our method is really simple. It's not a crazy business model or ask of testers, but what we want to do is build a tight knit, vested community of testers that we know on some kind of level, that we know you're one person, and that we can trust is going to not only show up to wherever you say you're going to show up as a DTL tester, but we also want you to be able to provide quality feedback that is thoughtful and educated feedback, not just I rushed through the form to get my earnings. And the earnings mechanic is really simple too. We want everybody who's eligible and selected as a tester to be able to show up to one of our test events. And we're gonna. Somebody asked earlier, like, when will those test events be? We want to take this with a game night, game night model in mind, and consider all the demographics of time. So an example might be We have a play test going on, and we have, these 4 opportunities to show up: one weekday daytime event, one weekday nighttime event, one weekend daytime event, one weekend nighttime event, just so that there's an availability for everybody to be able to show
Yeah.
up during a time that makes sense to them. Of course, if we can do something more asynchronously away from the group, then or just with everybody's own time, then we will. But it's going to be on a case by case basis based on the game and the availability to the build that they're providing us to test. We'll get there eventually, but point is, we'll provide ample opportunity to sign up for a test, show up to a test, attend. It'll be an hour long, let's say, and test out the game, with a lobby, hopefully, of other people there, so that you're not showing up to. We've had plenty of times where we show up to a multiplayer game to test it, and we're the only ones in the game, and we're only playing against bots, and that's not a proper way to test a game. So the other portion of having some kind of regularity in the testing, or some kind of schedule, is so that we can all show up for each other to test the game properly as well. But show up, test a game for an hour, fill out your feedback form with quality feedback, and earn $25. Very simple. Not fighting over the bucks. It's not a chance of the bucks. We're gonna give you $25.
Yeah.
That's simple.
You
Simple.
give us good feedback, you get a reward for participation.
Yeah,
That's it.
and
No
that
chance at a reward, no NFTs that
no,
you have to buy, no tokens that you need to hold.
no.
It's just a straight up business play on, and it's not even a Web3 play, honestly. It's a Web2 play. It's a Web 2.5 play, because majority of you are somewhat Web3 native, and that provides extra value, because in the Web3 ecosystem, or the Web3 sector itself, regardless of whether it's a game or a platform or a launch pad, or any of these plays that are coming out, an AI um, vibe coding thing like Farcade, we can test these things and say, how intuitive was this? How easy was it for me to navigate the interface? UI testing. How much did I enjoy my experience? UX testing. These are all things that we can test without having to be developers, without having to be coders, without having to be super technical.
So, getting into my next point, we do want to offer not just like these opportunities and deal flow for you as a tester, but me and Terrace have lately been doing a lot of educational content within the community that he runs right now, and we're really enjoying being able to provide education and just how to do things, and it's been great. So we want to, of course, bring that home here at Dream Test Labs and offer education around providing quality feedback and things to look for, and just kind of being able to. It's nothing hard. It's just the stuff that we want to get your brains all on the same page with, like, the kind of things we're looking out for when testing a game. And like, me and Terrace have been doing it a long time together, and so, like, we can pick up a game 10-15 minutes and have a slew of feedback points to be made, and we bring those back to teams all the time. But yeah, we want to do this on a slightly larger scale with, a bunch of qualified people to do it. So Shadi's asking, how would a project know that the testers are serious about it? Well, for one, we're doing a lot of the B2B on that. We're going to be talking to the teams directly, and this isn't coming out of our pocket. We're going to be working the deal flow so that they're paying us to do this ahead of time, and it's going to be a planned, scheduled thing. We're not just shotgunning tests at games randomly. We're working directly with the teams, and that way we not only are just doing a blind feedback. It's not going to be a blind generic feedback either.
Some
Sometimes
of
it
these are
might
going to be
be
more focused. Like,
some
for
will,
instance,
yeah.
somebody might want us to test what the connectivity is like from Southeast Asia. So there might be opportunities for our Southeast Asian group of testers to test specifically. There might be an opportunity for us to test as a host for a project, let's say, where you're hosting from your computer and people are connecting in through a node or something like that, and able to either control your game through whatever, or be able to participate in a game or something like that, like a peer-to-peer sort of setup, but with a middleman. We're gonna vet these projects best we can to ensure that you guys are safe, and if anything does feel shady, we're gonna make sure that we don't take those opportunities.
But
Ultimately, yeah.
we have been, yeah. So we're already finding that. Sorry, Terrace. I just, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So the
Just interrupt me. It's no big deal. No.
interrupted. Um, the games we're talking with, like, they don't want random feedback either. A lot of teams will like live feedback, which is one other reason for having event-based testing, because then the teams can join us and be available for answering questions on the spot. But it's also nice to just see people playing your game when you're done building it too, as well. So, but so far we wanted to have some kind of a, blanket approach, but at the same time, we've noticed that in our discussions with projects so far, everything seems to be white gloved and tailored to them. That's just how we roll. So it's just kind of going to come with our service. But yeah, I mean, they're the developer teams have specific things that they're looking for that they may not be able to do with their 5, 6, 10, 20, 30 people teams, that they need to test on a more massive scale. And that's where we hopefully can come in and be able to provide that test platform for them. So Shadi's also mentioning reviewing test forms. Another big part of doing this as a group is that, okay, so you get 100 people to a test and they all provide feedback from a Google form, and now the project is left with a giant spreadsheet of all this information and data. Now what? So Terrace is a big AI enthusiast. I enjoy it as well, but he's much more than I. But we do plan on taking all that data and summarizing it, firstly through AI, and then anything we as humans point out as red flags or pressure points or things that might be wanted, considerations for change, for the development team, in a nice, summary report at the end of it. So that's where me and Terrace are going to be coming in a lot, summarizing all the wonderful feedback that we get, and then putting it in a nice little package bode thing for projects to look over and actually look at quickly, instead of having to dive through 100 pieces of feedback. So that's another.
For example, like let's say this is me tooling around a little bit from the Moonray test. And this
Yeah,
is just some of like the friction points that we've noticed that have repeated over the course of the individual feedback forms that we've gotten back from them. This is what we're going to provide to companies on a
we're not
larger scale
we're
as
not
we
sending
increase.
AI summary notes only. Like we're going to use
Yeah.
AI to sift the data, and then we are going to be manually going through everything regardless. But we
Yes.
do want to get at least the high points and the themes and the patterns that we're noticing through our feedback. And if we cast a wider net, then we can hopefully get a lot of trend and on specific things. And like lack of guidance was the top one in this example. So yeah, we want to be able to provide quality feedback that's also readable to the team.
Yeah.
Teams do this all the time where they
Teams
throw a,
have ADHD TikTok brain
yeah,
just as much as anybody else does.
yeah. They don't want to sit there and quantitate the data. That's our job. That's what we want to do for
Yep.
them, and make it super easy for a team to say, wow, that's a lot of work that's off my plate now, and we're going to get all this great data, and we can make all these changes because these are all reasonable asks.
And
Or
that's where a
yeah,
lot of our value does come in. And we allow teams to focus on what they do best, the development aspects, and not have to sit there and do all of the testing aspects to make sure that all of the UI is correct, or make sure that every part of the game is being experienced properly. These are parts where we can come in and they can give us a build or a new build and say, hey guys, can you check out the quests for this area and make sure that the quests are acting properly? They're going to have to remember that it's a 1 hour playtest session. You know what I'm saying? So like, and unless they agree to do it for longer, then we may have longer playtest sessions, and you guys will make more money off of that, and so will we.
right.
Which, hell yeah, why not?
We're
But
still building. We're still building the like people. So I can dive into the next of like, you know, what we've done and where we're going from here so far. We opened the Discord now 2.5 weeks ago, and you guys just came flocking in, and I appreciate everybody who's been able to go through all the forms so far. You know, we opened up with an interest form, as you guys all know. We've slimmed down that interest form a little bit to reduce some of our own friction to getting into the Discord. And then we have our wonderfully massive application for testing available to everybody here. And, you know, it's so far been amazing. We really haven't done anything other than hang out in the voice channels once in a while and, like, you know, make fun of Skull in the chat. But otherwise, like, you know, you guys have just been supportive and hanging out. Another thing that we opened up, of course, was the industry research page, and we've already started tapping some shoulders. Dinkosaurus being one of our you know, our lab researchers, people who hunt and find games that are new and testing opportunities can all go into the industry research. We're talking about possibly gating that a little bit, but the original purpose of this Discord was not meant to be a community server, so we have not
Yep.
marketed it as such. And so for everybody who made it this far, thank you for making it this far. But we never intended on just opening our doors to everybody. The reason we opened our Discord 2.5 weeks ago was to all have a voice channel space to actually go and play the Dune weekend that never
Yeah.
ended up happening. We just wanted a place to play games, and we knew that we were building this anyway, so we were like, let's get the
Let's just
server
open
open.
it
Why
up.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? So you guys are really
And then
here in the
it
beginning.
kind of snowballed from there.
It's just been going. You know, we're not at a point yet where this is me and Terrace's full-time job. We still have other things and responsibilities to
Yeah.
tend to. But
Got to pay the bills.
I
For
can tell you
sure.
that every other hour of our day is pretty much focused at DTL and what we're doing and what we're building here. So pretty fun. But you know, so if you haven't yet filled out the tester application form, it does take about 15 to 30 minutes to fill out, but we do encourage everybody to apply at least. We say that to say that, like, we are going to be pretty strict because we are paying you money to test games. We're going to be pretty.
We're a business. We're
We
not
are a
a
business.
community, even though you are part of our community of testers
I
when you
haven't.
get approved. Like, but we are a business, and we're going to operate like a business.
Yeah.
Like we need quality. We need people to show up when you're supposed to show up. If you sign up for a test, like if you miss a test because you didn't sign up for a test and you didn't have the opportunity to participate, we're not going to gig you on that. But if you sign up for a test, damn sure, yeah, be there because
It's
we're
like not showing
expecting
up
you
to work
there.
on
We're
time.
relying on exactly. We're relying on you to be there and provide your feedback and test the game.
Yeah.
We're never gonna say, oh, you have to be there if you don't have the ability to be there. But at the same time, if you do sign up, we expect it.
And if you're a
And
tester and you're just along for the ride and not taking if you're not taking the opportunities that are given to you, we may bump you for somebody else, and that's okay too.
exactly.
If you're not ready to
I
do it,
mean,
then that's fine. But yeah, we are going to be pretty.
we'll look at it too base by base because like some people are going to have mobile only and not be able to participate in every test, and we want
It is a
mobile only
sticker.
people too
We have stickers.
because realistically mobile only is going to be important for certain playtests. You're going to be more familiar with mobile and mobile gaming and like
Yeah, you
how
guys.
things typically are on mobile,
We
so
want all
you are
demographics of
important too.
testers. Yeah, we want all demographics of testers. So don't feel like you can't or you're not qualified because you
And
might be.
another thing that's really
Um,
bad with the industry, if you've noticed, is mobile interaction with websites and platforms and stuff like that. That's something that we could provide a value to Magic Eden or fucking OpenSea. Because have you ever tried to navigate those on a phone? They usually suck.
So
So
without diving into the nitty gritty of all the possibilities we have for testing, because there are so many, we don't have to just be testing games. We can be testing platforms. We can be testing websites. We can be testing dApps. We can be testing products. We can be testing wallets. And there's so many things that we have open to us as just Web3 native gamers, that we're not going to just stop at games. Our foundation will be in games, but are open to all people that need some pre-market testing. And so that's what we're going to be doing. I want to just, we're at about our halfway point. And again, we are recording this for anybody who wasn't able to make it. So if you're just tuning in, hello. Yeah, no, I wanted to go over what we've been able to achieve in 2.5 weeks. and where we're going next. So we opened up again 2.5 weeks ago. About 24 hours after we opened the Discord and made the announcement that Dream Test Labs was alive, we were reached out to by an anonymous sponsor, and they knew about Moonray test going on the very next day. And the land.
Hold on, didn't he say we didn't have to be anonymous about it anymore? Like, give him his due.
I'll make a post about it, and we'll do it there.
Yeah, we're gonna give him his due.
But
Because he's fucking awesome. He's an
yeah,
awesome dude.
he knew what we were doing. He knows us personally, and he wanted to make sure that the Moonray test had testers in it. And he said, "Dude, I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner to ask you guys, but do you think you'd have like a couple people you could throw at the play test? I'll pay them $20 a head if they show up and fill out feedback." And I was like, "Yeah, I think we can. I mean, it's like 16 hours notice, but we'll do our best." And he said, "I'll pay up to 20 people that you can get to show up. But if you get 3 to 5 people, I'd be happy. Like I'd be so happy." And so we put out the bolo. We said, "Hey, like there's a test going on, and we'll pay, on top of the raffle system that they have going, which I'm not even sure if it's gotten paid out yet, or even mentioned since the day. But we put out the word, and 27 people reacted to the announcement saying that they were interested in coming to test. 20 some people actually were able to show up for the full hour and a half, 2 hours, play and test the game with us. And then we also received 20 pieces of feedback from Moonray. And so we hit not only like, our quota of 3 to 5 people, we maxed out the offer. And we're going to get 20 people paid $20 a piece. That's $400. That's amazing. Just from being open a day. And
And
so
that's not
we
even
have,
having official testers yet.
no, this is just with people who are so far here willing to show up at a moment's notice to go play a game on the weekend and, potentially earn some money and earn some money. It was great. So we hit the call to action without even really doing any prep work. I'm excited to see what happens when we do. And so that, for those that did participate in that and who are wondering when we will get you guys paid out, we received the funds the other day. And we received all the feedback as well the other day, just like a day or two ago. And so that we have money to pay you guys. We just are trying to find out the best way to do it. We might want to do we're thinking about doing like a multi-send contract to get it all to you guys fast. But yeah, as long as my only real concern is just making sure I verify your guys' wallets and that I'm sending money to the right place and that you guys get paid for your work. So thank you guys. Big thank you from me. We didn't hard judge a lot of the feedback, but we definitely have notes and we have stuff to teach, and that's okay. And but huge win. Out of nowhere, like it was amazing. So that will be chanted from the rooftops and talked about on the timeline at some point. Because I'm really proud of that just being able to happen. But since then, we've already been reached out to by 2 projects, and they are already interested in working with our test group. We just don't have one totally built out yet. And so, we have a price in mind, to pitch, and we, considering all the testing costs and the operation fees, we have pricing in mind. We want to make sure we're competitive. We want to make sure that we're, which I have found out we are, for what we're asking is about like a fourth of what traditional testers are asking for their quality assurance testing. And we're just making sure that we have our niche tightly, strapped up, and that we're offering something that's of value to projects. And so far, the people I've talked with, the projects have been, they don't even shudder when we bring up, what the total cost is. They're like, "Oh, that's actually really reasonable. When can we start?"
Yeah,
And
the first thing they do is how do we make this work? What do we get going?
yeah,
How do you guys test? They're like, okay, money's out of the way. I'm not even worried about it anymore. Let's go.
They're just moving. So we have 2 people in the pipeline. We just have to get some logistics out of the way, and of course, build the roster of testers. So it's important that you guys do fill out that application form if you're interested in becoming.
I think everybody here has.
I think so far, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that we're working on is we don't even have our proof of concept test out of the way. Our plan of operation was to open the Discord and then have a proof of concept game. And I'm going to announce that game now because I've been alluding to it. But when me and Terrace were planning all this, I took this idea to a friend of mine, and the friend of mine happens to work at Coin Games building Project O. And I brought the concept to him. I laid out the entire business plan for him, and I said, "What do you think?" And he said, "That sounds amazing. I love that." And I said, "I would love for Project O to be our subject zero test for Dream Test Labs, so that that
Proof of
our
concept.
feedback loop works." Yeah, and that we have a proof of concept that we can then. The only thing I told them we would do it entirely for free for Project O, because they're being our Genesis test, and they're really like the guinea pigs of this project. They have agreed to exchange a testimony for how it is to work with us. So it's really important that, one, we get this right and we do a really good job, because they're going to be grading us on our work, and we're going to
Yep.
be sharing it with the world, saying, "Hey,
Yep.
like, the first project we decided to focus on was Project O, and they loved working with us." That's what I'm hoping for. And
Yep.
so I have no doubt that we can get there, and that's the big goal next.
And that's
Our,
another thing I want to touch on real quick before we go further.
sure,
The
sure.
fir- as testers come in, you're
Hmm.
going to have sort of like an initiation period, right? When you do your first test is on you. We want to make sure that you're showing up, make sure that you're providing the quality feedback that you're supposed to provide, and then from there, you're in as a tester. That application gets you into your first play test. Your first play test gets you solidified in your position as a tester, and then from there, each consecutive test provides an opportunity for you to get the rewards. Like I said, first test is a trial period. We want to make sure that you guys are doing what you guys need to do. We're doing what we need to do, and the teams are getting the quality feedback that they deserve.
And just on that note, it's in all honesty, it sounds like, first test is free. They're getting a free one out of me. Yes, we are. There's no hiding that. The reason it's free is because I'm not charging it. I'm not charging the team any money for it either. And I wish as much as I could that I could pay somebody. If I can find some cool incentive way to reward you guys as well, just for participating, part of the reward is becoming a tester and gaining access to all this deal flow that we're trying to accumulate and perform in. But yeah, like, I mean, I'm
It's
not charging them, so I really don't have anything to pay you guys with, and I hope you guys
it's
understand that.
also it's a good measure of whether or not we are getting somebody in that's quality.
Yeah.
There are people here that we know are going to produce quality feedback, but we're going to treat them the same as everybody else. And then
Yep.
at the same time, as new testers come in, it doesn't mean that they're going to displace you as a tester from being able to take an opportunity. We're gonna filter them in for tests, even if we have to over allocate. Like, let's say we only need 100 testers and we get 100 paid testers, we can over allocate 10 people into that test to make sure that they're going to show up and do their free test, and make sure that, we're not excluding any of you guys who have already earned the right to be there. You know what I'm saying?
You guys will take
And get paid
priority for
for it.
sure. Yeah,
Oh
we're
yeah,
not going to be just chucking it
100%.
to the wind ever.
So we're not just
Um,
going to be doing, oh well, we'll do 50% non-paid and 50% paid, and then
no.
we make more. No, it's going to be we're going to allocate all the paid spots that we have, and then if we
Yeah.
can get free testers in as well, then we'll get those people with their first free test done and out of the way, so that we know whether or not they're going to be staying or they're going to be going, and that's that. You know.
For Project O, we were very close to getting into that subject zero test, but they have an update on that. They will be, for those that are tracking Project O. You already know that their community playtests are going to be happening over the next 2 weeks within their community. Everybody's eligible to go and ask for a spot to test. We've been talking to Apex a bunch, and he's really open to letting people in there. They're hosting little mini games and stuff. I think if you just go and like drop like a player tag suggestion in a channel, you have a chance of winning a playtest spot. So they're going to do a holders test, then community play test that they're going to be hosting, and they really wanted to be very present in our process. But Apex also shared with me that Kevin, the project lead, doesn't want to share this version with us for our feedback loop. He said that we already have a better version coming out, and we have some really honest feedback work for you guys to do, where they're going to have us
Yeah,
focused on something very specific. So
something new.
Yeah.
that
So it's
hasn't
not that
already
we're
gotten
late.
feedback from the
It's not that
community.
we're late to the
Yeah.
process. We've been talking to them for months now. But now they're at the point where they want to get their community playtest out of the way. And then they're gonna employ, like, once that shuts down, we're gonna be coming into a quiet private build kind of situation with private access. So that's really exciting. That should be coming, after that. So I anticipate 3 to 4 weeks from now. But that doesn't also mean that we can't necessarily get into some of the testing opportunities that have already come across our door. We
It's
are going to
been
be
what,
looking
2
into it.
months now, Maddox,
Yeah,
that
we're looking into it.
we've been going at this, like,
Yeah,
planning and, like,
at least
really
2 months. It's almost,
getting
it
down.
feels like three
Yeah,
now.
I mean,
But
we've been doing more for longer. It's just that we've really gotten the fire under us because of the whole Project O thing,
yep.
because of GDC when you when you
I've known
shilled
Thayer,
us.
I've
Yeah.
known Thayer for a couple of years now, and I met him 2 GDCs ago, and fantastic fella in general. Just like, the guy with the really good vibes at the party. He's always that. But he no, he's a good friend of mine. We talk, just not shop. Sometimes we just talk, and I brought this to him as an idea as a friend, and then it hit me. That was like, why wouldn't we want to include Project O on this process? I think that would be the best case scenario. I couldn't think of a better game to do it with. It's going to be a mobile game too, so you don't even need a computer to test it. So that's exciting. But yeah, so Project O, we have a couple others in the pipeline that are already eager to throw money at us. So we're going to take advantage of that, of course. We need to get through our tester applications and get you guys, onboarded in some way. And then once we get into, that, back to, I'm sorry, I kind of skipped on the point here, but we do want to do some like educational content around testing what we're for. So we'll have, not necessarily required, but nice to go tos, upskill events or educationals on, just what our feedback is after and why we look at the things we look at. So yeah, happy to get those started as well. Another thing that we're doing in the meanwhile, I've loosely talked to Dankosaurus about this, but you know, hosting some kind of weekly game night where this would be more just, this is what I call industry research, where you go out and play something that just came out. We haven't talked to the team yet. We haven't, provided any service to them, but we want to go and, do some exploring, where we all go in and test a game that we, might have limited access, or, Denk gets a bunch of opportunities. We get a bunch of opportunities. So if we could have a weekly game night where we can all just show up, hang out, play games, that's fun too. Do it
Just to
together.
honestly, we wouldn't call it so much a game night as it would be like a team bonding.
I'm going to call it
We
industry
we
research.
yeah,
Yep.
industry research,
Market
team
research,
bonding.
something like that.
Um,
Yeah.
because realistically, we're not trying to I don't want to step on the toes of any gaming communities. There are so many
Thank you for
amazing
bringing that
gaming
up.
communities out there. There's
Yes.
Paladins, there's Wardens, there's OG Catalyst, there's Lizard Labs, Wolves now, and Wolf now are slowly gearing towards somewhat of a gaming community as well, even though they're very
YGG.
focused on their exactly. We have enough gaming communities out there. We are in the business of helping games to improve their product,
Right.
improve their experience for new and prior users.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. Anything we do in the server is geared towards that. Any gameplay tests, any fun nights, anything like that. Majority of them are going to be with early games. Majority of them are going to be like, if we play an early game for a game test night, I might be on stage here, or I might be in the voice chat room with you guys, and I might run into something and I might point it out to you guys to kind of like help you guys with your feedback mentality or mindset, for your testing minds, because it'll help improve as you go your experience with game testing and your feedback that you produce. So everything is a learning opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah. But yeah, we don't want to ever, like, I've already talked to a couple of guild leaders and game communities that have been concerned that we are already in competes with their ideas and their projects. For the record, we are not trying to compete with any gaming communities. We're not going to become a guild to fight on the leaderboard for stuff. By proxy, we are going to become a community of sorts. We're gonna, we're gonna be support for each other as testers and as a test group, and a force to be reckoned with when it comes to, games in general, because we're thinking in a different way. But yeah, we are not here to compete as we
I
don't want to
want
sell
us to
game
be
awards.
like a family
We don't.
environment. I want us to be comfortable with each other and be able to joke and laugh and take shots at each other and be like,
Yes.
"Oh, you noob," like it's good. It's good. It's good
Camaraderie. It's good
camaraderie.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
good stuff.
like the fact
But
that we both thought of that word. Fuck you, man.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. But yeah, we're not here to compete with any of them. We don't want to become the next one. And nobody has to feel like they have to pick between us or them. If it's a
exactly.
community event, go be their community
Oh,
thing. That's fine. Do
I
it.
want Heimars to come and test with us. I want Mizzy to come and test
Exactly.
with us. I
That is
want
something
like
we are doing. We are absolutely poaching the best of the best from all communities, and we're not signing off any kind of exclusivity to be hanging out and testing with us at
exactly.
all. But I do want the best of those communities to come and test with us, because
We
those
want the
opinions.
best gamers, the best testers possible
If
to
I
be the
can
best testing group in the fucking industry.
if I can go to projects and pitch on a deck somewhere that I have these 40 noticeable names from all these different communities testing the game first, it's so much more valuable than, like, oh, it'd be amazing. So yeah, it is a little vanity, but it's also like, I know the caliber of some of these guys, and I don't want any of them to feel like they're picking and choosing between the community they came up in and Dream Test Labs. That's not the point. So we definitely
Yep.
don't want to fight anybody for space or status there. But yeah, we're excited for all this. I think I
The
got through
only
all my
the
notes.
only thing we have here is an NDA. And that's going to be the thing. There's
We
going to
can
be an
talk about
NDA.
some of that. Yeah, we can talk
100%.
about some of that really quick. Because okay, so like we want to have teams see us as not just like a service and a support, but also somebody they can trust. If they're going
Yep.
to be offering us secret new private builds, we want to know, we want them to feel comfortable doing that, so that they're not worried that if you guys participate in an event and then stream
Now
it,
we've got a whole big
or
leak about
like,
our game for the next build that's not coming out for a month because we haven't tweaked it yet. A
yeah,
lot of the flack that building in public and building early and participating early, these games get and these projects get from people, is because people don't understand what it is to test a game. You're testing an unfinished version. Textures are shit. You're gonna have instances of falling through the fucking floor. You're going to experience issues with a lot of these things, and that's where testing comes in, because you get a lot of people who are going to notice these things because they're playing a lot of different portions of the game all at the same time. And what happens is you find bugs easier through your playtest group, and then people can then improve the game. They don't have to hire an army of testers. They hire our company to come in and test, or they do an open play test and they hope that people give them feedback on shit that goes wrong. But some people, they in this industry especially, people come out and they say, oh, well, this is fucked up. Why am I in this game? Blah, 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 blah. And you got to realize you're in an early alpha. Some of these games are technical alpha. They're not even ready for beta testing yet, but they're opening the doors and giving you a chance to experience what they're building as they build it. A lot of people don't understand the importance of that, or like the luxury of that we didn't have back in the day. Because I used to get into early access playtests to see, one, if I liked the game and the gameplay, two, if the game was good and the developers were really doing what they needed to do and keeping on top of it and progressing as they went, because that tells me if they're going to then come out with updates to the game later on, if they're going to progressively improve the game once it's in a good working format. These are all things that you did to just be able to test early back then, and you didn't get paid for it. There were no tokens, there were no benefits. You might get a skin or something in the game, or you might get a title, early tester or something like that, but you didn't always get paid for it. In some instances I did. I won't lie. Like, some instances I got paid pretty damn good for for early testing a game. Some games were very generous with it, but those were harder tests to get into. So there's a big opportunity here in this industry for us to get people paid for testing games and providing quality feedback, because nobody's really doing it. Everybody's just open testing. Everybody's just saying, here, test my shit and rag on me on X for 5 weeks because you don't understand what playtesting is.
Yeah.
We eliminate that by one, the NDA. You can't release shit about it. If you release shit about it, you're kicked out of the test group. Period. End of story. Immediately. And then we're gonna also send legal notice to X and whoever the fuck else we have to get your shit taken down,
So
because we cannot afford that as a company.
one reality slap is like, if you guys do something under us, the shit
It
falls
reflects
on
on
me
us.
and Darius, and
Yes.
but real talk, how it unfolds if we break any kind of NDA with any of these projects that wants to come after us, it results in me having to shut down an actual business. Dream Test Labs is doing business as under my company, Dream Team Creative Collective LLC. It's a real company. It's got a real bank account, guys. And if I have to go after, if somebody has to come after me legally for anything that we do as a collective, I have to shut down.
We're early enough. We're in the funding stage now that we're bootstrapping it. Everything that we do, everything that we pay for is coming out of pocket. We're not funded by any big groups. We don't have grant funding. We don't have initial VC investors, and we probably won't ever take on VC investors because we control this bitch. There's nobody going to tell us what to do and monetize you certain ways and all that other nonsense. But we're here to build a business, and it's going to take time, and with the funding that we have, it's going to be rough. If we have any legal hiccups like that, it's going to ruin us, point blank, period.
Yep. So we're being
Just
very careful with all that. If anybody's concerned about all the information that we're collecting, it's all legal red tape that we're just running through as a business. So that's where it comes from. It's not to get snoopy or goon on your fucking accounts or anything. It's really just to make sure that I'm covering my ass, and making sure that I'm protected, that you guys are protected. It's all separate. But
and that's like another thing with the tax information. I'm sure some of you have seen the tester application, and I want to touch on that real quick.
sure.
The information about the W9 or the W80N, I think it was.
Mhm.
If you guys end up earning over 600, which I'm hoping that you guys earn more than that, but
Eventually, yeah.
in
We're not
in the
gonna
end,
we're not gonna reach it this year because we're halfway through the year already. Likelihood of you
you
guys
never
doing
know, because depending on
what's what two,
depending on how custom the test is for a
do
company.
you think we're gonna have 24 testing opportunities between
Do
now
do
and the
we
end of the
do we
year?
need 24? Do we need 12 companies to sign up for 2 tests?
It
Do
depends
do we
on.
need
Yeah, I
24,
know
or
what
do
you're
we need
saying. Yeah, I know
or
what you're
do we
saying.
need or do we need 10 companies to sign up for
Let's cross
10
that bridge
tests?
when we get
You know,
there.
like,
That's what we've been
yeah,
doing.
but
But yeah, it's a consideration we have already
he's like,
foresaw.
"We won't have that happen." And I'm like, "Plan for it."
That's
Um
on Q1 of 2026 projections, guys. We're not worried about that yet. No, we want to see where we go. Of course, we want to be making as much as possible. I can never guarantee that this is going to become a job for any of you guys. This is not going to be, I don't foresee it replacing anybody's work at any point yet. But who knows? We want to say who knows and see where it goes, of course. But I will never say, quit your job, come be a DTL tester. That's not available right now. If it becomes available, we'll get there. But yeah, so we do have some legal red tape. We are taking this very seriously. We are not just a pop-up blip on the radar kind of project. We're not hyping anything. We're not selling you anything. We just want people to come play games and get paid to do it. That's really our mission here. So, are there any questions? Because there's about 10 minutes before I have to wrap up and go figure out picking up my kids soon. Any questions you guys might have for us at all? You guys, our stages are always open stages, so anybody can raise their. If anybody actually wants to test this really quick, this is a brand new stage in our Discord. Dank, can you? No, you're not. You're not a good test for this. Anybody who just has the lab buddy role, if you could just request up if you have a question too that is helpful. But anybody want to request to speak? Can you request to speak? And you can tell me in chat if you can or not. That would be great. You can request, but you don't have a question. That's good. Okay, so we built it
yeah,
right.
you'll come on up.
Okay, so anybody's welcome to come up, ask the question in person. What's up, Solzal? Yeah, do the thing. Did you just? Oh, you requested. Okay. Yeah, if you guys have questions, we want to hear you. Truthfully, guys, I want to get to know all of you. I don't want you guys just to be a imaginary profile picture and a random name. I want to get to know people. So feel free just to come up, say hi. Feel free to ask a question. 10 minutes, we'll be closing out. But Yeah, totally. If you guys like those stickers, I want more stickers. So like, if you guys have good ideas for stickers, let me know. I do a lot of graphics stuff, so we can do anything. We want more. I know we need to boost the account for that stuff. Um, you know, safety stuff. I mean, we're probably for the server guys, we're never gonna really have a vanity link. I don't want to afford one. They're like $500 a year to sustain. And once you start it, you really can't stop it because if you don't keep
Yeah,
paying for it,
because
somebody's
then
gonna
if you
steal
have a
one.
Vanny link,
Yeah,
somebody will steal it. Yeah.
somebody will steal it as soon as I stop paying for it, and then they'll pretend to be us, and then another reason the business could go out of business. So I don't want any of that. It'll be, invite only kind of things, or through our
Yep.
interest form or, links that we create. We're not, we don't have any websites right now. So if any website comes to you saying, hey, join DTL and be a part of our airdrop, we're never doing that. So
We're
yeah,
never going to do an airdrop. We're never
no
going to do an
airdrop.
NFT launch. If we did any of that, it would be outside of DTL as us as individuals or as another
Hmm.
entity because this is specifically for testing.
No airdrop.
No airdrop. No
No.
airdrop. Um, but we may get an SBT that we can upgrade and give you badges and give you like rankings for. But it won't be something that you're being sold.
No,
Dank out.
we're
Dank
yeah.
out.
Just as a scam alert, guys. Like, don't trust anything that doesn't come
Yes,
from our main announcement channel. If you're not sure,
exactly.
come ask us. We're pretty here all the time, so we're more than happy to verify anything that looks weird or sus.
Yep.
And yeah, don't ever worry about that. But if it doesn't come from this server, it's probably not us or our Twitter page. That's the other place we are. So. Um, Otherwise, man, it's really fun. I What else? Dank, can I pull you up? I'm gonna pull you up if you're interested.
Hello,
Hello,
I'm here.
hello. Um,
Hello.
the guy who thinks mac and cheese is just mid.
It
Um,
was. It was.
really quick. Sorry, there was a question from Mary
May
Rituals.
rituals. Yeah.
May Rituals. What are the upcoming plans to test games and get paid to do it? In simple, but we are recording this space stage so that we'll post that up in our announcements as
Yep.
well once we're done. And we'll share that with you so you
But
can
yeah, we
watch
have a
back the
couple of
recording.
upcoming games that are
Yeah.
interested in testing with us.
Hmm.
We're reviewing tester applications. We haven't decided on the roster for the first batch yet. We're doing the Moonray feedback form reviews and filtering the information for the team so that we can send them a nice little kind of like, hey, look, this is how we do it, and giving them some quality feedback in a really good digestible format.
Yeah.
And of course getting the testers that participated, well, I'm sorry, the buddies that participated in the Moonray test paid because they're not official testers yet. It was just an opportunity that was given to us by an angel of the space,
Yeah.
who was willing to pay for people to participate in that test. So yeah,
Thinkosaurus.
that's about what we've got going right
Yeah,
now.
Thinkosaurus. I pulled you up
Yeah.
because you have a fancy role attached to your Discord account here, the lab researcher. So the roles,
Yep.
guys, we have the lab buddy. That's where everybody comes in and verifies. Everybody can be our buddy. We're not going to say no to
Yep.
anybody to do that. Um, Above that, we have lab tester. Nobody has that role yet. All right. Then beyond that, we have our lab assistant, like lovely Luna over here. That's a moderator. And then we have lab researchers. They're in the same kind of boat, but the lab researcher position that we've put there, Dankosaurus has been known for finding cool games, finding
Really
information about
early.
games early, play testing in games way early. He's just full of the knowledge. So we also know him personally. We've talked with him plenty of times. He's participated in plenty of our events and our tournaments and all sorts of things. And so he is somebody that we have entrusted with the hat of lab researcher. It's an unpaid position. He's just a guy who loves the fucking data and the research. But he's been playing around in our industry research forum, which right now is open to everybody to contribute to. He's just been doing a really good job of it, so we've given him access to contribute to it. We have talks about kind of closing this up a little bit so that only people with this will be able to contribute to the forum, because I want to make sure that it's a safe space where if people look to it for information on new test opportunities or games that are coming out, that they're not just clicking through a bunch of shills. They're not clicking through a bunch of like
Some of
bad
these
links.
games have where you have to download a zip file. Some of these games have it
Yeah.
where you have to download an APK. It is a security concern, so ensuring that we
Yep.
have people that are 1000% trusted to posting stuff in there, that would be the best bet.
Yep.
Like over time, you guys will work with you guys. We'll see how you guys interact with us, see how you guys interact with the community. And eventually people will gain access to those roles more and more.
Yep.
I would rather it be where every person we have in the community has that role so that they can participate freely and openly. But until like we've had the chance to see more of how you interact and who you are, we got to protect ourselves and
Yep.
our buddies.
So a little more background on Terrace and I. We currently, like, within the communities we work with, one of our main focuses is security, Discord specifically. And so we have both been attacked. We have both had communities attacked. We've both gone through
Yeah.
lots and lots of crap. And I hope that, you guys have been able to maneuver just fine within the server, but also safely. I know for a fact that we have auto mods running and watching links and watching who can post where and who can announce at all and at everyone and stuff like that. We've got some beefy auto mods in our server. So we're not the I am not my auditor, my Discord auditor, but we know a lot about a lot within security, and so we try to keep it safe for everybody to interact with here. But if you guys are finding you need anything or need any channels or need any access or whatever it is, just ask. We're more than happy to make the accommodation that's the safest route to do it, so that you guys aren't like missing out on anything or wondering what you can and can't do. So yeah, just know you are somewhat in a safer space than most. We manage a lot of servers that are not safe. We manage a lot of servers that don't have any kind of foresight to security protections at all.
Yeah.
And it's scary how much people can do in most servers. And so yeah, just another value we keep here. So security and safety for you guys is important to us. But Dank, I pulled you up just to talk to you about what you've been posting in industry research. Not exactly like what specific games, but like anything you want to talk about with like what kind of things you are putting in the industry research forum, and why, if you don't mind sharing that.
Yeah, so me personally, I've got a pretty rich background when it comes to playtesting games. And for me, I find that really comfortable spot of games that I like to playtest are games that aren't doing a beta or like an open beta or like an alpha, but are like doing a sort of pre-alpha or pre-beta where it's basically almost fully done, but at the same time it needs that little bit more testing and polish. So that's why you'll see that if you go and look at a lot of the games that I'll post in there, is they are relatively mostly done. It's just developers need a little bit more time to iron things out I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, a good example of this is Wildgate. Wildgate, when I got into it, was like a month or two before they announced that they were going to have an open beta on Steam. And having that month or 2 months in advance to go in, do the testing, do the feedback, not only as like a player is it a good opportunity to see, is this a game that's worth getting into, but as well as it's just really cool to play these really high quality games a couple months before they come out, and that's always a really big benefit of it. So
And you never know how long they're going to last, so you get a chance
exactly
to participate before they potentially go under.
Yeah, that too. A lot of these games as well, once they get towards that final stage where it's like it's time to consider like open betas or alphas, they do tend to give away merch or Steam gift cards or just money in general. Slimecore, every Thursday they have a online playtest, and when you show up and participate, you can get Steam gift cards, you can get t-shirts, hats, hoodies, keychains, just general merch.
Fun.
Another game was Chrono Hunter VR. VR is a pretty niche thing, but they were offering
I need
five $50 gift cards.
Nice.
So it's a
I haven't
lot of
touched
these
my
games.
headset in
I would love to.
Oh, me neither. I got back into Blade and Sorcery recently, and that was pretty fun.
Oh, that game was fun. It was a little buggy, but it was fun.
It's very buggy, but it is fun.
I dropped.
But yeah, so
oh, go ahead, Dink. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say I dropped in the chat. So Moglin put out a post. If people don't feel like they have the time or knowledge about a game, but they are interested in something they heard about new, this post that I dropped in the chat is just for that. Like, if you just know about a game that's giving you like, hey, this looks good vibes, and you can drop the name and the Twitter, you should be allowed to do that. Just as that comment alone, that'll trigger people like Dank, people like Moglin, people like us to go look and do a more deep dive on those games and see if it's worth its salt, or something we want to dive into deeper. And then from that list, we can also create individual posts about those games. The gaming forum or the industry research forum is just that. It's a space to build little micro spaces about games that we're interested in looking deeper into, so that we're not flooding the chat. I really don't mind the flooding the chat. It's just more to organize the information so that if you ever want to go back and look for information on a specific game, hopefully it's in our industry research forum eventually, so that you can further discuss or keep up with, the last what's happenings with the game. So that's also a good use case for the space as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Don't
be me.
So yeah,
don't fuck up the post.
Yeah. Just a little closing note then on industry research and the sort of game forums in there. So I'm going to pretty much always be putting in stuff that I find in there. Never be shy to like put in there like, hey, can I get a key or something like that? Because a lot of the time is playtesting is a pretty niche thing. So 9 times out of 10, you end up knowing somebody that moderates the server or somebody who knows somebody that works on the project, because playtesting it's very messy, but it is all kind of intertwined in a way. I'll see people that I see for one game in a different game that is just completely random. So it's really easy to reach out and be like, hey, can I get 10 keys? But I can't do that unless I know people want them.
Exactly. Yes. If you're looking for, me and Terrace get access to keys a lot without even asking. They just say, how many can we get you in your community? And we're like, so sometimes they'll just send us a list of keys, and that's really nice of people. But yeah, if you're interested in gaining access, like if we ran over to Project O and knocked on their door and said, hey, we have a bunch of people who are interested in the playtest, could we get them going before our big test? We are going to get our own individual test access, and we're working out the logistics on what that test access is going to look like. It might be a long-term kind of thing where you get they're right now they're controlled server stress testing right now, so they can have guest accounts. They can give away guest accounts that they can flip on or off. They can activate your personal account that they can flip on or off. They're seeing how many they can push before it gets too much right now. So we don't want to be hogging up the server space while they're doing player community tests right now, or holder tests, community tests. I don't know. When we have, but they will give us our own nice little slot to test in, and that's really nice. We've talked about doing it over a weekend. We've talked about it doing it over a week or whatever we need to do it. But we want to make sure, we don't impede on their space either. But if we ever needed access and we were like, hey, Apex, this dude's really into TCGs, he really wants to play Project O, we'd probably be able to finagle something. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty
especially
cool.
if you're going to be active there. I mean, I don't see why they would say no.
No, for sure. So, okay. Well, we're a little over, and I appreciate those who stayed with us for the hour, and for those that came in late, no problem. We are going to share the recording. I am going to dip off so that I can get my kids and stuff, but it was really nice being able to just take a moment to kind of unload what's been on our brains for the last few weeks and months, and share it with you guys. We don't hold any secrets. We don't have any wait for the next one. There's nothing like that. We want to be as transparent with you guys as we can be on everything we have, and there's no gotchas or anything. We just want to play games and get paid to do it, and have a nice organized way of doing that as a service in our space to make better games ultimately for us, and hopefully lower that statistic of like 80 to 95% of games closing down because they pushed the wrong product, they funded too early on marketing and didn't have something right to put out. No player bases, all the things. But thank you guys. I appreciate the time. Thanks for listening and stuff.
And just a shameless shill moment. Like, look, you guys help us become more successful. Feel free to share the Dream Test Labs X account, and
Yes.
just let your friends know. Let them know that we're looking for testers. That we don't have any gimmicks. We're not doing airdrops. We're not doing any of that bullshit. We're just giving you rewards for participation and feedback. That's it.
You guys are
And
more than
we're gonna
welcome
be
to
ramping
share
up.
with others. Yeah, for sure. You guys, I know we were talking about NDA stuff and like being private about information. Yes, all important when we're dealing with games, but and again, we're not looking to be a big new crazy community that just chills and flings giveaways or anything crazy like that. We're looking for people who would be actually interested in these opportunities, and we want you guys to be able to, talk about what you heard about in, our little AMA today, and like, what you learned about our project and why somebody would want to be a part of it just like you want to be. So feel free to share that post. Feel free to share anything that you learned today at all. Totally fine. Totally welcome to do so. We won't ever stop you guys from that. Yeah, I'm glad you guys like the stickers. And here's a little ditty. I'm already working on merch, so look out.
Oh my
I
god!
want the
on
hat.
merch.
I want the beanie so
I'm
bad.
already working on hats and beanies and t-shirts and hoodies and you name it. Actually, for the first piece of merch that I want to mass give away is going to be like because when I go to, like, I'm literally decked out in stuff that I go to conferences on with now. Like, I don't wear anything other than gamer stuff. But like stickers, do actual stickers maybe. But no, I think the one piece of merch that I don't get a lot of at conferences is a good pair of sweat shorts or sweatpants. So I'm thinking that's the first piece of merch we go for.
we're doing banana hammock boxers and
We could do boxers. No, for real though. Like a good pair of sweat shorts would be
some
sick with
silk
a nice
panties.
little, fox on it. I think that would be sick. I think everybody would appreciate them. We're a bunch of gamers that sit in gamer chairs all day. You got to be comfy, So like, why not? That's just a fun idea. But yeah, no, I appreciate everybody who was able to show up today. Tell your friends it was great, or that it wasn't. I don't care. Just tell them what you learned today. There's no para. Look at that. He's like, oh my god. And yeah, no, we're happy. Happy. But yeah, we're gonna close out the space. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit us up. We do hang out in the voice channels, and if you need us to hang out in the voice channels, hit us up. We do a lot of work in voice channels, so we play a lot of games too. So buddy to play
We
a
can
game
put
with.
the stickers on the hats.
Yeah, we could do all sorts of things. I can
Just no para looking at you like
we can
this
do whatever we want.
from the top of
That's
your
the best
hat.
part.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But like there's so much we could do, and we're gonna have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because we like to have fun as much as we like to make money.
Oh man,
And
do we like
yeah.
fun? Yeah.
We
Yeah.
probably like fun more than we like making money because we end up giving a lot of money away for
So
the option.
if you guys have been to
Yeah.
any event that me, Terrace, Nopera, Moglin have hosted, like, how much we get away with when we have bosses. But now we're the bosses, so get ready. Fun.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, we don't have no qualms about having fun here. So put this on sweatshirts. Do it. Yes, boss. Learn it. Yes, boss. I love it. All right, but no, thank you guys for everybody who's been here, and we will close out now. But yeah, come see us soon, and we're hunting down those new opportunities as well, so we can get you guys activated, and we'll be a little more. We're going through the applications, so we will be opening this up and getting more direction on what the testers will look like. We are going to have, just the last thing I'll say on testing is, like, testers will have their own little separate area in the Discord to talk more freely.
Yes.
Than we already do.
If you're a part of the tester group, you've already signed an NDA. which
Yep.
means we need to have a separate section for you guys based on the fact that you're going to have NDA information.
Yep.
We do not want to see any NDA information in any of the channels but your tester specific
Designated
channels.
section, and it's going to be you'll still have all the access to all the other sections, but yeah, testers are going to have their own little cool kids club, and that's okay. So yeah, if you want to have access to that, you'll have